Come on, be honest. You're ready for a life change. You're tired of all the same old, same old. I know I am, and I also have the answer. Call it the Barry Kibrick way. It goes against the grain, but you and I like that. After all, it's where all the fun is anyway. So are you ready? Because we're going on a quest to find the mythical land of radical moderation. But it will only remain a myth until we uncover it and find its inner beauty. In fact, we must, or we can find ourselves in a heap of trouble. I use the term radical moderation because it's the furthest thing from where we are and the most important place for us to be. Right now, extremism of all types are dominating the zeitgeist of our time. From extreme politics to extreme lifestyle habits, from social media to dieting, everything is in the extreme. And it's wearing me and you down. We cannot discuss politics at a civil level. In schools, if you're not enrolled in one of the STEAM magnet programs, your life is already ruined, according to many educators. The fight over who should be in charge of our health care, regardless of what side you're on, does not even include us, the individuals. And God forbid, if your food contains a GMO or is not keto safe, how can we possibly survive? In fact, I'm certain that you and I are going to hell in a handbasket if an errant carbohydrate should accidentally enter our body. So it's time for us, once and for all, to finally take moderation to the extreme. For only through radical moderation will we combat the true evils of our time. Let me break it down. Radical moderation, it's an obvious oxymoron because moderation is the quality of doing something within reasonable limits, while radical is just the opposite. It's favoring extreme changes in existing views and habits, conditions, or even institutions. And that's the reason it's going to save us. Because you and I must take severe measures to avoid the ludicrous extremes that we are barraged with on a daily basis. However, as important as I believe in radical moderation, although I am confident it would be a rewarding relief, it may be one of the most challenging virtues we can attain. But trust, it will be well worth it. As the French philosopher Montesquieu said, human beings accommodate themselves better to the middle than to the extremes. Yet, you could tell that by looking at any of our current institutions, even though our democratic society depends on politicians, the media, our education systems, all of them to exercise common sense and moderation, our current state throughout almost all of those institutions is dominated by hyperbole and ideological narrow-mindedness. It is why radical moderation is our salvation. And I mean radical because, unfortunately, moderation today is considered to mean that one is indecisive and even cowardice if he or she does not exude a particular ideologue's position. Now, it wasn't always that way, although in some sense, I guess it could be considered that way, but at least it wasn't always favored that way. Aristotle and Plato, they knew it as the most important virtue a human can attain, but also the most difficult lesson of wisdom. I have to admit that's what perplexed me, because I believe, in some sense, it's the easiest lesson of wisdom, although it may not be simple to attain. But don't shy away just because it may not be easy. Remember, we can always find the ease in any effort that it might take. That too is within our nature. In fact, it's in the universe's nature as well, always striving for a state of balance, a homeostasis that puts everything in order. But what's most important for you and I to really feel deep inside our heart is that radical moderation is not just the space between the extremes. And it also doesn't always mean that we must achieve it in every aspect of our lives. We often need to go to certain extremes if we've got deep passions, if we're in dire straits, or if you and I just feel like it. That's perfectly okay. Let's face it, come on. Even moderation should be in moderation. But radical moderation goes much deeper and therefore much more worthy of our attainment. It's part character trait. It has an element of self-control, a political balance, an important element for our institutions to be aware of, something that America's founding parents were well aware of. In the Federalist Papers, Madison and Hamilton understood that liberty and prosperity depended on a wise balance between all groups within our society. It literally formed the basis for the design of our Constitution that made balance the fulcrum that held the three branches of government together. So moderation is more than a state of mind. It's even more than a form of ethics. And we put the word radical in front of it, we become even more attuned to the validity of moderate convictions. We are aware of the imperfect knowledge and information fed to us on a daily basis. And that mere awareness is almost the definition of wisdom. I love how T.S. Eliot put it. He asked, "Where is the knowledge we have lost in information, and where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge?" The answer is in radical moderation. For we radical moderates boldly refuse to define one single best way. We do not need the perfect solution, but we are the most capable to reach reasonable answers and to right the ship and keep it from imploding. It is the only true north direction that we can strive for. And in our world today, it does take courage to stand in the middle of the road, to swim against the tide of extremes, and to demand that all sides can be heard on any controversial topic. You and I cannot fear those extremes or anyone who are on the side of those extremes, who think that they know the answers, who are so self-righteous they don't even see us standing in the middle of the road. But we will not be run over. To paraphrase Lao Tzu, the mark of a moderate person is that we can make use of anything life happens to bring our way, including extreme measures, extreme politics, extreme institutions, and even extreme lifestyles. Because just between us radical moderates, you and I, we know where the good stuff really is, like the cream in the donut or the filling in an Oreo. It's in the middle. Until we meet again, dig into that salty carb or sweet one, if that's your preference. But remember, stick to radical moderation. Thank you for watching. It's a joy and a privilege to bring this show to you. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss an episode. And please visit our Patreon page by clicking the link below. We so appreciate your support, and thank you so very much.